Alrighty. Aluminum causes moisture inside the wall. Why? Well, we're going to jump into that. We're going to talk about thermal bridging, thermal breaks, vapor barrier, and the like. Is it good to build with aluminum? Is it, and if so, how and why? We're going to jump into all of that. But before I do, this is full disclosure here. This is a correction video off of a video I did before, and it's up there on the channel, and it got a lot more attention than I thought it ever would. And I see why now. It's the whole reason we started to make videos like this in the first place. It's because this information's super difficult to get. People just aren't giving it out. Call them gatekeepers or whatever you want, but people out there doing their own builds, trying to learn is aluminum a good way to build a structure on the back of the truck or a camper in general. There's just stuff that's not shared. And then the aluminum campers that are built aren't built well, and I was showing that in that other video, and you're welcome to go and see that. I made that video, and being new to making videos, it's amazing how much your thoughts get scrambled up like eggs once the camera turns on. So I'll get better at that, and I think I did a much better job here in this video, and so let's jump into it. Before I do, I want to say thank you to those who jumped into the comments there and schooled me. I really appreciate that. I love being corrected properly, and I want to say thank you to you for doing that. What I ask is, and this would be super cool if we could build this, is if in the comments, those who are much smarter than me, because I work on the applied side. I manufacture these things, right? We manufacture them here, and we've been doing that for 50 years. And we do a really good job at it, and we work on the applied side. I am not a physicist teacher or science teacher, but I know what works and what doesn't work in the building process. So getting in here and explaining that, if there's one of you guys who is smarter than me in a particular area, please put together a well-structured argument down there in the comments. I would love that. It would be so cool if we could build a place where those who are out there trying to do their own builds or just learn how this stuff works and learn what kind of camper or build is best for them, or build method or build structures is best for them. It would be so cool if in the comments they're getting educated. It would be awesome if there is the comment section was a place where you go to get education, and those who are smarter than me are going to put together a really well-structured argument and educate. I would love to educate you guys. I would love for you to educate me as well. So if that's good, you can go over there to the channel and see that other video. Just know that when I talk about vapor barriers, this is the correction video for that, because I was wrong when it comes to the vapor barrier. So it would be cool if you did that. You're welcome to subscribe, like the video, but only if you find value. So let's get to it here. Right here, this is what we were talking about. So these units are going to be going up into the middle of nowhere and getting beat to death, and it's a 20-year life. It's got to have a 20-year life to it, right? So this is getting heated at a rapid pace, and this is not. This is staying the same temperature. The heat here wants to get out there, and you want to, nature and those who are smarter than me, again, explain this if you want. Nature likes to create equilibrium, right? So this right here, heat is trying to escape and get out there, and when it does, how's it getting there? It's going through, and it's going to follow the path of least resistance, which is a thermal bridge. So everywhere you have a stud, that's a thermal bridge, right? Thermal bridge, thermal bridge, thermal bridge, thermal bridge, thermal bridge. So what we have learned works is if you take your insulation and you put it super tight against your thermal bridge, and you create a thermal break from this zone to this zone, right? So this is a miniature thermal break between the sheeting, and I'm going to talk about this. This is a thermal break, right? And then you have your thermal bridge. Now here's why I was saying it's a vapor barrier. It's not a vapor barrier, but it seems to act like one, and I would love to have someone explain this one to me, but let me draw this out and show you. Okay. So, right here, aluminum stud, right there, okay? Then we have our zones: hot, cold. What we have learned, this right here is a thermal bridge, right? And this is a pocket of air inside here. But this is a super dense material. There's no insulator here, and so the it's gonna get super cold. Metal gets super cold. So the heat is gonna try to get from here to out here, and it's gonna follow that path of least resistance. Well, if I have insulation on this side, this is gonna slow it down significantly and trap that heat. But this isn't. So what we have learned, right, and this is basic to building. It's not something that we specifically have learned. This is a thermal break, and this is foam. The thicker this can be, the better, but you don't want to compromise on the upfitting ability into the future for whoever is using that unit. They need to be able to bolt stuff and screw stuff to studs and all of that. So you can't have all foam. So right here is another foam, right? This is the insulation on the side. As long as that is super tight to that stud, and this is super tight, and then we have our small tape, and here's what that looks like over there. This is the tape, the stud, the thermal break. This is acting as a little miniature thermal break. Again, we're on the applied side. So what we have learned is when you do this and everything is super tight, you transfer that moisture. The moisture and ice wants to build up here because there's humidity over here. It doesn't build up here anymore once you have that thermal break. It builds up inside here. Now, I would love to know exactly why, a good definition, because I don't have a good definition. I just know on the applied side, that's what's happening. And so you create a channel for that water to go. So you have a thermal break, miniature thermal break, and then you don't, aluminum rots. It's oxidation, it rusts. It's called oxidation. When you introduce the process of electrolysis or dissimilar metals and then moisture is added to that, all of that, you can lose panels. So right here, that moisture buildup inside here goes, it stops out here and it builds up here. So that is why the term vapor barrier, which is inaccurate, but this is where the moisture is going. Why is that? I can't give you an answer on that. But over and over and over and over, this is how we build, and it works. It works well. So for those of you who are just trying to do a build and you don't necessarily want to know exact science, do it this way. This works. But those of you who do want to know the exact science, I don't have the answer for you. And I would love to find the answer somewhere. And if somebody can help give that answer, I am all ears. I would love to hear it. Throw it down there in the comments. If there's a video that exists out there, please direct me to it. I would love to link up with that and make sure that the people here trying to learn are getting the right and good information. So now what this conversation sparks is the conversation about SIPs. And the thing with a SIP is, though it ranks the highest on insulation value for that type of a structure, it comes with its own problems. I cannot just screw something to the wall because my stud's going to rip out, because a SIP relies entirely on foams, and we build SIPs here, right? All of our roofs are SIPs. This right here, this foam, what a SIP is you put a substrate on that, and then you put your sheeting material on it. And sometimes your sheeting material is your substrate combined together, kind of like Asdel. So this right here oftentimes gets bonded directly to your foam, right? And then you have a thin layer on the inside, 1/4 to 3/16, right? The problem with that is I can't screw gear to that. I can't put a toolbox on that. I can't hang a ladder from that without doing Fisher plates and through bolts in a way that have a Fisher plate on both sides. That's still going to rip itself out. It's going to have a load limit. A nice aluminum stud on a frame and a structure that is welded all the way around has way higher strength, and I can hang this 3/8 ply from it, and I can still have a relatively light structure. Like I can move this with one arm, right? I have a relatively light structure even with sheeting the interior with plywood. And now your client is going to be able to hang whatever they need to from that wall, right? Even though this is here. Once that's sandwiched together, that is structural and it's strong. And I know, now we're talking about structural foam, and this is not structural foam. But for its purpose, it's an excellent selection of that build method. So I hope that that was a better version of the video. If you would like to get information that was not shared in this video, subscribe to the channel and go over there. I'll link that video here at the end of this one, and you can go over there and watch that video. But hopefully that was a much better explanation, and let's go. I'm happy to see what you have to say in the comments. Thank you for watching.